Good afternoon, friends. I welcome you all to this press conference, which is in continuation of the August 23rd one on important issues relating to the economy. To brief you about it, we have with us Honorable Minister for Finance and Corporate Affairs, Srimati Nirmala Sitharaman ji. Finance Secretary Sri Rajiv Kumar, Secretary Economic Affairs Sri Atanu Chakravarti, Secretary Revenue Sri Ajay Bhushan Pandey, Secretary Expenditure Sri Girish Chandra Murmu, and Secretary Deepam Sri Anil Kachi. I extend, there is change, okay. I extend a warm welcome to the honorable dignitaries. Friends, the format will be as it was last time. First, the Finance Minister will make a presentation, and following which we'll take a few questions. Now, may I request the Honorable Minister to give the presentation.
Good evening. As was promised, we've come back again to talk to you about some things that we're doing towards making the path clear to reach the $5 trillion economy that has been promised. And in the process, the financial sector and the banks are the topic of today's conversation with you. Before I start on that, I just want to make sure that we are not making the announcements without any follow-up. Since the last announcement, and on those very specific points, how much has developed and what are the kind of things which have happened are the first few slides. So the first few slides don't relate to today's announcement, but more for me to come back to you to say, since last Friday, what have we done? So in specific, the several announcements that we've made have already seen, particularly on the interest rate reduction and also for the banks to follow up. You've had quite a few product launches by the public sector banks, and compliance have been issues, the instructions for compliance have all been issued, and on a very transparent way in which we wanted to have the one-time settlements to be done in banks. The checkbox related solutions have all come through. So I just want to be clear that the first few steps that we're talking about are specifically related to the banking sector, but post my last announcements. So 8 PSB banks have launched their repo-linked home vehicle mortgage, cash credit loans, and so on. Then instructions, all of which is available in the slide at the back. Instructions have been issued on bringing greater customer ease, time-bound return of loan documents. I did mention to you all last time that within 15 days after the loan has been closed, the documents will be given. And also on the point of tracking loan applications, where particularly the SMEs were at a loss because they didn't know where the application lie, how long is it taking for them to get cleared. The tracking facilitation has already been done. So the loan management systems in each of the banks are giving them the very clear information at what level, what stage their applications are. And the one-time settlement, which I did mention, has already seen instructions have been issued. And then particularly for the NBFCs, the support that we had promised, which includes housing finance corporations also, the partial credit guarantee schemes have all been executed. So sanction has begun with the 3,300 crore already given, and about 30,000 crores are in the pipeline. So they're getting them, the liquidity is reaching them, they're settling matters through the NBFCs and in particular for the housing finance corporations. The co-origination is something about which we spoke last time. We said the synergy between the NBFCs, which have the spread and reach, and the public sector banks, which are sitting with the liquidity, because of the co-origination, they should be able to reach out much more. So I can very clearly today claim, post my last Friday's announcement, 4 NBFCs have already found their solutions through the public sector banks, reaching out to them to give the liquidity that they so desire. And more on the pipeline. We'll be talking about it sooner. One thing about the Indian economy, I'd like to give a broad picture, is today as we stand, on the 2.6 trillion economy that we are, of which 1.9 trillion is actually the credit in the economy. So approximately about 72%. That shows it as approximate, right? From a distance it looks like negative. It's not. 72% of GDP is the credit availability. So the measures that we're going to announce today, we think are important so that the credit in the economy also grows commensurate with the desire that we have to reach a $5 trillion economy. And that is why the credit enhancement is what we're talking about, not specific amount, which is the destination. Next one. I also want to very clearly place this whole presentation of today in context. We are very clear that we need to lay a very strong foundation for the financial sector, in which not just strengthening the banks with equity infusion, but also making sure that we give them a complete good governance module. And that is where we have started. And I want to be very clear to say that we are not starting it today. In fact, in the last several years, we have made sure that several banking-related reforms have been undertaken. I'll just give a very quick rundown on the various steps, which you probably are already familiar with, but I want to bring it to the backdrop of this discussion for today. So no interference in commercial decisions making, as opposed to the phone banking which existed prior to 2014. Then 3.38 lakh shell companies have all been closed. They are struck off the register. And then NAFRA, the regulator, has been set up with independent regulatory members in it. The auditors are independent too. And then the resolutions are all happening for stressed assets very clearly through the IBC. So if those are the ways in which we are moving, you can see further some of the reforms which were taken up earlier, release only after ensuring loan conditions and clearances are all being followed now. Consortiums of banks which can get together in funding a particular project, which ran to 30 or 31 earlier, are now only limited to 7 to 9 banks at best. However big the project may be, not more than 7 to 9 banks in the consortium. Then techno-economic evaluation cells are being created in the banks so that there are no inadequacies found. Then technology analysts used for robust risk assessments are being made, and also to bring in due diligence in banks. So those are committees which we've appointed. And then the early warning signal reading is a very important step that we've taken. Specialized agencies have been set up who are monitoring every loan which is over 250 crores. Further, quickly going through the reforms that we've taken, cash flows were not ring-fenced earlier. Very clearly now, they're very ring-fenced, so you know that you're not going to get into an unknown sudden situation which develops. Then banks were overexposed to corporate loans. Now there is a good asset mix. Sorry, is there some reminder being given anything? Sanctioning and monitoring of big loans strictly separated so that there are no confusion between the authorities. And then quality of tier 1 capital also has been enhanced. Very importantly, stressed asset verticals are already created, as opposed to the inadequate slippage prevention mechanism, which really let us down in the previous years. Going over quickly again, Fugitive Economic Offenders Act has been passed, as a result of which many of those fugitives and their assets have been, at least their assets have been confiscated, and having confiscated their assets, we are after them wherever they are to get them back into this country to face the law of the land. Then PSP loans, which is within 59 minutes, you're very aware, now we are bringing in a lot more energy into that, so most of the loans sooner will be going through in-principle approval in this manner and then getting followed up further. Then foreign branches are rationalized. Adherence to risk-based pricing is also happening, as opposed to the ad hoc pricing system, pricing mechanism which existed earlier. Then retail and MSME LMS are also implemented. LMS meaning loan management systems are implemented. Quickly again, to avoid further Nirav Modi kind of situation, SWIFT messages are linked to the CBS, the core banking system. IT-based centralized processing centers and verticals are also started. Then MSME bills discounting because of being on threads is introduced. Even the last Friday, I gave one more step further on that, linking that with the GSTN also, so that nowhere will bill discounting for the MSMEs will become a problem. So with all these linkages, they should be able to discount it with greater sense of ease. Then selection at arm's length through bank board bureau. So no selections are going to be politically interfered with. It will happen professionally. Then the MDs of banks selection from market for large PSPs and wider pool of other PSPs. So you're not limiting the choice of who can be running the bank as a managing director. From a limited pool of people, you're opening it up for the market. Whoever wishes to come to that position will now be able to give their services because they have the domain expertise. The non-executive chairman is being introduced. Earlier, only the State Bank of India had it. Now all banks shall have it. So from all this, what is the gain that we've seen, and what is it that we can put on record? We just want to show that loan recovery record levels have been reached. If in financial year 18, 77,000 odd amount was collected, 77,000 crores, now it's crossed 1,21,000 crores. That's about record recovery levels. Then the gross NPAs, I want particular attention to be drawn of the media for this. Gross NPAs have come down. So in December 2018, if you had 8.65 lakh crores, now the asset quality has improved, NPAs have come down, and the level at which they are today is only 7.90 lakh crores. The next is the provisional coverage ratio. Provisional coverage ratio. You can see in the chart which is given, the highest in the last 7 years has happened, 75.3%. This is already existing under the NPA. Complementary is provided for, right? So highest level is being provided for by 75.3%. One particular thing I'd like to draw your attention on the gross NPAs is the figures come down from 8.65 lakh crores to 7.90 crores. I make it a point to repeat this because in the recent past I had seen reports which were misleading. I hope this picture clarifies the actuals for you. Enhanced profitability, again very important. Of a total 18 public sector banks, 6 public sector banks alone had enhanced profitability when we were talking about it in the fourth quarter of year ending 19. Whereas now, when we're talking about the first quarter of the financial year ending 20, we are talking about 14 public sector banks in profit, as against 2 in the financial year of 18. So of the 18 public sector banks, 14 are in profit earning situation. I also want to report on what has happened and what has developed post the consolidation of Bank of Baroda, Vijaya Bank and Dena Bank together. So what's the impact of that? What have we gained out of it? I just want to put that before you. We've actually had wide-ranging benefits. Wider offerings and enhanced customization has happened. Operations rationalized much more than before. Verticalization initiated. Very important, just no retrenchment of any staff. Very important again, admin staffs have been redeployed for business, which means the core function of the business improves, and best practices were replicated everywhere. And when I say this, and I insist saying this, because if there was one feature which was very good in one of the three banks as regards human relation management, that was copied for the rest of them also. Similarly, when all of them came back together, every best practice which prevailed in this bank or that bank or the third bank were all replicated for everybody's benefit. So best practices of each bank has been absorbed for the collective gain. So that's very important there. So significantly in terms of numbers, if you want to say, the CASA growth has been robust post the merger. 6.9% has been increased, and when CASA grows, it's better for the bank because they have more liquidity and they have better credit availability for themselves. So the amount in crores is given there, 2,87,000 crores in June 2019. So this consolidation of Bank of Baroda, Vijaya Bank and Dena Bank actually has resulted in good outcomes. The next is strong retail loan growth. 20.5% increase in retail loan. Between 2018 June till June 19, there is a 20.5% growth. Today, the retail loan growth is 1,12,000 crores. And that is a significant increase from where it was earlier for the scheduled commercial banks. Moving over to the next one, the profitability has enhanced. Now, in quarter 4 of 19, year ending 19, they were in the negative of 7,113. Today, they moved positive. They are at plus 710 in the first quarter end of this financial year. So profitability has also enhanced. What has happened in terms of the potential which got unlocked? As a result of the merger, there's a very clear indication that they're poised for rapid growth and they can raise greater things in the market, and high profit trajectory can be seen whether it is loan growth, whether it is CASA growth, or whether it is in the profitability. End of the day, what is the market thinking about it? You have at least 38 market analysts who have come on to have one unanimous view that the market capitalization post this merger is expected to touch 51,000 by the time it is August 2020, from where it was 35,000 crores. So April 19 to 2020, within 1 year, that's a kind of improvement and outcome which has happened of the first merger that which took place, Bank of Baroda and so on. So having done 2 rounds of consolidation, along with sustained thrust on recognition, recapitalization, resolution, process reform and so on, what is it that we want to do for the next? I've already said the target is $5 trillion economy that we want to reach, a robust banking system that we want, and for which the steps that we want to take is what we want to reveal today before you. So we are trying to build the next gen banks. So unlocking the potential through consolidation. We are going to be talking a lot about consolidation. Big banks with enhanced capacity to increase credit. Big economy, you need banks which can sustain that kind of a growth potential. And the trajectory has to be maintained from the point of view of the banking facility that we can provide for the people of India. Banks with strong national presence and global reach is what we want. Operational efficiencies gains to reduce cost of lending. So the scaling up will only allow them to have a lot more resources, and therefore the lending costs can come down. And therefore the blueprint that we're coming up with is going to help us towards building a $5 trillion economy. Enhanced risk appetite they can have. Thrust on next-gen technology for banking. Technology is an important feature. You'll notice that further we talk about, we've given a lot of mind application for ensuring that the fintech that they operate with are all going to be such that no customer disruptions will happen and enough attention will be taken towards bank and its consolidation. Wider offerings with enhanced customization and better ability to raise resources from the market. So we very quickly give you a complete picture of what kind of consolidation we are going to be doing. The first one, before I start, the large capacity of one bank, the technology-driven capacity of another, and the strong deposit franchise the third has are all being brought together. So Punjab National Bank, Oriental Bank of Commerce, and United Bank will be brought together, and they shall form the second largest public sector bank with business of 17.95 lakh crores, which is at least approximately 1.5 times that of Punjab National Bank. So that will be the first one that we're talking about. The second largest branch network that is available in India will be of theirs, with 11,437 branches. So the first one that we are announcing is Punjab National Bank, Oriental Bank of Commerce, and United Bank. Three together. What will this give us? A high CASA and lending capacity combined in consolidated bank. Large cost reduction potential due to network overlaps. Cost saving and income opportunities for the joint ventures and subsidiaries. Most important, the point that I said earlier, we have taken clear care that the platform that they use are compatible. In merging or in bringing together the three banks that we've brought down here, we made sure that the technology which is used in this Bank 1, Bank 2, and Bank 3 are compatible, and all the three banks can enable a quick realization of gains without customer disruption, without any disruption to the service that they have to lend. We go to this most important table. The indicators that I would draw your attention to are the CET1 ratio, the CRAR, which is the capital reserve ratio, and also to the net NPA ratio, the three above the category of employees, which is very important for you to notice. And all the three are very critical indicators to tell you that this consolidation in this particular case is absolutely healthy. And we've kept all the Basel norms, RBI's guidelines and the Basel norms in mind, even as we have put these numbers together for you. If you have any questions, we'll be able to answer it later. I don't want to labor on each one of them, but I want to completely give you the confidence that we've applied our mind on the Reserve Bank of India guidelines and also on the Basel norms, which will have to tell us what these numbers ideally should be. We've kept that in mind. I can go further to explain that a bit later. Should we now move to the second? The second which we are consolidating are both banks coming from the south. Canara Bank with Syndicate Bank. They will be the fourth largest PSB with business of 15.20 lakh crores, which means approximately 1.5 times more than the current size of the Canara Bank itself. Third largest branch network in India, they will hold, with 10,342 branches. Large cost reduction potential exists due to the network overlaps. Similar culture to enable smooth consolidation because they come from the same region. Cost saving and income opportunities for JVs and subsidiaries, and therefore immediate, without disruption, continuation of service for all customers. Again, mind application on the point that they both come under similar compatible financial technology that they use, so both are able to quickly realize the gains. Now, the indicators which you will be interested in, again, something which I would want your attention to be drawn on: CET1 ratio, net NPA ratio, and also the capital requirement, adequacy requirement ratio, all of which are given here and absolutely tick marked from the point of view of Basel norms and also from Reserve Bank of India guidelines. All three meet more than the ideal situation. We go over to the third one, Union Bank of India with Andhra Bank and Corporation Bank. This shall now become the fifth largest public sector bank with business of 14.59 lakh crores, approximately 2 times the size of Union Bank of India. Fourth largest bank in terms of network of branches with about 9,609 branches. And their business will now become twice to about 4.5 times existing bank business. Large cost reductions possible because of, again, network overlaps, which we can rationalize, cost saving and income opportunities for JVs and subsidiaries again. Again, consideration was given for the kind of technologies that they use, are they compatible and so on. Yes, all the three and their technologies are absolutely compatible, and therefore we don't see any disruption in terms of client services. Indicators, the three which I constantly refer to, CET1 ratio, the capital adequacy ratio, and also the net NPA ratio. In this case, of the three, definitely 2 are more than the ideal. The third one, which is closer to the ideal, will get closer once the consolidation happens, and we shall give special attention even to that. So that explains the third that we've done. Fourth one is important. Indian Bank with Allahabad Bank. This will become the 7th largest public sector bank with business of about 8.08 lakh crores, which is approximately 1.9 times Indian Bank size. Nationwide presence with strong networks both in the south and in the north and also in the east. So you get a wonderful coverage of all the three areas. Doubling of business size. Major scaling up of reach due to complementary networks. High CASA and lending capacity in consolidated bank. Again, the same CBS platforms between the two, and therefore we expect to have a quick realization of the gains after consolidation. The indicators, very clearly, all three are very clearly above board, very much above the ideal that we have. So it's worth noting that the strength is only getting consolidated of these two banks. So with all this said, we have very clearly explained what are the things that we're doing towards bank and consolidation. I want you to particularly give attention to this particular table. So what is it that you're going to have? The anchor bank will be Punjab National Bank in the first merger that I announced, where the amalgamating banks are Oriental Bank of Commerce, United Bank of India. Business size is 17.94 lakhs. PSB rank by size would be second, and the particular computer networking, fintech networking is Finacle. Similar, Canara Bank and Syndicate Bank coming together gives us a bank size of 15.2 lakh crores, becoming the 4th largest. iFlex is the system that they use. Union Bank of India, together with Andhra Bank and Corporation Bank, will become the 5th largest of the banks, public sector banks, with 14.59 lakh crores for their business size. Then Indian Bank with Allahabad Bank reaches the business size of 8.08 lakh crores, will be the 7th largest bank. So we had already talked about SBI amalgamated earlier, Bank of Baroda amalgamated earlier. So the consolidated PSBs for strong national presence and global reach, one of the objectives with which we went about this consolidation plan. So 82% of all PSB business will be with these banks. 56% of all commercial bank business will be with them. We shall continue with 2 banks which will have national presence. And they are Bank of India with 9.3 lakh crores of business size. Central Bank of India, 4.68 lakh crores, will continue as Central Bank of India. So 2 of those banks continue to be with national presence, and they continue to flourish in those. With all our support, we'll extend everything else. To strengthen the regional presence, some of these banks continue to have their dominance in regional areas, and they shall continue to be where they are. Indian Overseas Bank will continue their presence largely in South with 3.75 lakh crores. UCO Bank, with their presence in the East, will continue with 3.17 lakh crores presence. Bank of Maharashtra in the West will continue as it is with 2.34 lakh crores as their business. And Punjab and Sindh Bank in the North, particularly in Punjab area, will continue with 1.71 lakh crores as their presence is very solid. Now, this is something which is a tally which you need to notice. In 2017, when there were 27 public sector banks, today, after today's announcement, this comes down to 12 only. So 12 solidly present, well consolidated, energized, adequately capital endowed banks will now operate to target our 5 trillion economy and give the necessary support for the banking facilities which is so required by our customers today. All right, now have we just thought of these consolidation without giving the necessary energy to the banks? Governance reforms is what all of us have been talking about for quite a long time. Did we do anything on it? Are we doing in trickles? Here I'm happy to tell you that we've taken adequate care to consult and take everybody on board much before we are coming out with the announcement on governance reforms in banks. These, I think, as much important as the consolidation announcement itself are, today the governance reforms that we are announcing now before you are of great significance to make these banks run professionally. And therefore, I draw your attention to the various governance reforms that we are announcing along with this consolidation. To make management accountable to board committee of nationalized banks to apprise performance of GM, general manager and above, inclusive of MD, will happen. So now it won't be just one person deciding on the appraisal of top officials. It shall be management which shall take these appraisals forward. So it won't be left to the hand of one person. And to make span of control manageable in large PSBs, post-consolidation, that is post today's announcement, boards will be given flexibility to introduce CGM level as per business needs. So we shall allow them to form or take a call on introducing a CGM in their respective banks. And also to recruit, this is very important. Just only State Bank of India probably very recently had this, but to recruit chief risk officer from the market at market-linked compensations, but not on salaries decided by government. You will have specialized risk officers from the market deciding on what the bank's spread of its activity will be, and they will be adequately empowered to take a call on the decisions of the bank. And then to enable a succession planning, boards to decide on a system of individual development plans for all senior executive positions. What would this mean? It would mean that for each of the senior level position, there will be a set of 2 or 3 people who will also be built so that they get expertise in that area and be ready to, if there is a need, be able to take that position on. Of course, there will be yet another process of recruitment and selection, but at least we will be building capacity so that you have greater number of people who are with specialized skills and experience. So we are at this time itself giving enough material and freedom for them to have a succession planning within banks' boards. To ensure sufficient tenure, boards given flexibility to prescribe residual service of 2 years of appointment of GM and above. So nobody gets appointed for just a month or two because they are senior most, but they will, once appointed, be there at least for 2 years so that there's a sense of continuity. And by the time they get to doing something, they're not going to go away. So these are some of the serious governance reforms that we want to bring in. In again, bringing another set of reforms, we want to make sure that the bank's board committee system itself gets strengthened. So flexibility is being given to boards of large public sector banks to enhance sitting fees for non-official directors. They were being paid pittance. So many of these people did not even have an interest being in bank boards as official, non-official directors. Now the boards will be given the flexibility to get the best in the field and give them the pay that they need for sittings. For better board committee functioning, boards given mandate to reduce or to rationalize board committees. In some cases there are very many, in some there aren't as many. So they will be given the complete power to decide what the size should be ideally for them. And for risk management committee, we are giving the mandate to fix accountability, which is what is the main problem. For compliance of risk appetite framework, that is where we are also getting somebody from the market with adequate remuneration, and they will be given enough veto power to take a decision or to veto a decision from being taken. Longer term for directors on management committee boards, because most often, as I said earlier, they spend a short period. By the time they can effectively understand and do something, they're gone. So we are giving them longer term. The last point there about the strengthening of the board system, board committee system, is the management committee of the board loan sanction thresholds have been enhanced by up to 100%. So if they had an X amount this time, they would be having 2X, to enable focused attention to higher value loan proposals. So this gives them the additional strength and power to go ahead with higher value loans. So further on the governance reforms, non-official directors' effectiveness is something which all of us have been questioning, discussing. We're trying to bring in some strength there. So the non-official directors' functions will have to be now comparable, analogous to the independent directors. So that's something which is happening now. Boards are given mandate for training of directors, both for the induction and for specialized purposes. Boards are given mandate again to evaluate the NOD, non-official directors' performance annually on a peer review basis. Thorough professionalization is what we are aiming at by doing these. The next is about leadership development in banks. Executive directors' strength in larger banks are raised to 4 for better functioning, focus, and also thrust on technology. Particularly on technology, we would ensure that there is an executive director who completely focuses on that, because the cyber security risks which banks face is also something which leadership should be consciously seized of. Creation of leadership pipeline under the BBB, the Bank Bureau, leadership development program is also being introduced. So with all this, the public sector bank and their drive, we are going through wide-ranging reforms. Financially stronger PSBs are the ones which we are aiming at. Remember, please recall that in the budget we had made a provision of 70,000 crores. Well-provisioned PSBs, 14 already in profit. We'd like all of them to do well. Then technology-driven banking is what is the emphasis on today. Scale and synergy will be acquired because of the consolidation that we've done today, and governance is also getting strengthened, professionalized, and independence given to them to function. Now, if all this is what we have, of the 70,000 crores that we've given, I want a certainty out there for the consolidation. Have we just done the consolidation and left them free? No. We are giving them enough capital reserves with which they can be confidently functioning without worrying. And I underline here, even as we announce all the consolidation, we have given enough instructions for the banks at the branch level to be sure that that which we had announced last Friday, in terms of liquidity, in terms of working with NBFCs, in terms of making sure that the credit availability in the market, all this will not suffer. On the contrary, we would want at the branch level enough dedicated staff to attend to that, and not entirely all the staff to be looking after the consolidation program itself. So that has been very clearly instructed to the banks. We expect them to dedicate their staff to make sure last Friday's announcement as regards liquidity, availability of credit, reaching out to customers, reaching out to NBFCs, all happen without any disruption. So those dedicated to take care of smoothing out these consolidation will be completely dedicated for this purpose without having that suffer. So a rough, absolutely approximated number of what we would like to infuse with these banks. Punjab National Bank will get something around 16,000 crores. I just want one rider, one clause to be put here. These are approximate amounts. We will obviously tailor-make them according to the banks and the requirement, which will be discussed with the banks at that level. But here we are just giving you a broad indicator. Don't hold us on to this amount to the last digit. So Union Bank of India would get 11,700. Bank of Baroda will get 7,000. Although that was an earlier tranche of consolidation, we still support them. Canara Bank gets 6,500, approximately all of them. Indian Bank, 2,500. Now, does that mean we forget those which are existing in the regions? Not at all. Indian Overseas Bank, we think about 3,800 crores. Central Bank of India, 3,300 crores. UCO Bank, 2,100 crores. And United Bank of India, 1,600 crores. And Punjab and Sindh Bank, 750 crores. Now, these are not to take care of just the consolidation-related work, most of which is already provided for. This is aimed at growth. This is aimed at reaching out to the market, reaching out to the customers for growth purposes. So these are amounts which are being given and provided to these banks which are getting consolidated to aim at growth and growth only. So consolidation is not being enabled through this, but these are growth driven. So I think we've given you a broad picture of what we wanted to announce today. We want strong financial system, and I suppose now I'll leave it to you all to.
Yes, so we'll take a few questions now.
Just 1 minute. Let him coordinate.
Just.
Let him coordinate. 1 minute.
Just wait. We'll come to you one by one. Okay, you can.
Baroda.
Yes, that's what I said. Even though it is already merged, this is growth के लिए देने वाले पैसा है. Consolidation basis नहीं है.
Let's go systematically. Yes, you can start. You'll be compensated.
Yeah, okay, fine. No problem. We are from the same organization. Sapna Das from CNBC TV 18, ma'am. Quite a huge announcement. You have put forward 4 major, how do we say it, arrangements for the merger process to go forward. PSB number will now be at 12. Also, you have announced a recapitalization, majorly also for those banks which are the acquiring banks as well as for the other banks, regulatory capital and growth, both of that. Just want to understand, ma'am, at this stage, just to understand the logic, it was very important to take the consolidation road forward at this stage, ma'am, and in this way, one. Second, we have also kept aside some money from the recap amount for the rest of the financial year. Could you share something with us on that? And last, ma'am, 4 banks are still under the PCA framework. They are largely untouched and they'll continue to, work, function. Anything on that anybody has in mind at this point in time?
As regards the timing you asked, this is exactly the right time because as the FM mentioned, this is to enable them to support the 5 trillion economy. And as the FM has clarified, this is not going to cause any disruption because you can draw the experience from the Bank of Baroda, which in the very initial slides we showed you as to how their business has grown, as to how their profit has grown, and it has benefited the customers of the Dena Bank, Vijaya Bank, and also the employees of everybody. So what we will ensure, as the FM again mentioned in the last capital slide, that the disruption will not be there, anchor banks will do their work, and the period of making it effective will be fixed up in consultation with the banks when their boards take the decision. The alternate mechanism has decided that banks, we request the banks to take a decision in their boards, come back to us and say what kind of proposals they send and what is the date for effective date we fix. And as you recall, in the Bank of Baroda, we fixed the date from 1st of April 2019 so that disruption is not there, credit growth takes place, and whatever announcements were made last week, today or in future, banks are fully aligned to complete this. So absolutely no disruption. And the entire figure which is here, you are making 6 very, very large banks, global banks, and 2 national banks and 4 regional banks. So the energy also will get dissipated through this differential roles which they have.
Yes.
The business size, as we have shown, determines as to they can now have to look and have global aspirations. They are the banks which have the global reach also. So this is what they will look for. They will go to the market. They will work now from the position of strength. Because so much has happened, you have seen in the initial slides, recoveries, NPAs, provisionings, profit, 14 of them are in profit. So they are now poised to take a leap forward from the position of strength and support the 5 trillion economy. The regional banks, and she also asked about the PCA banks.
We're not calling them, just 1 minute.
Yeah, we are not calling
them
regional.
regional. We are only saying the concentration of that bank is in the region, in one particular region. That's not because of a design. They are there. We are saying that is how we are representing. We are not giving them a title of a regional bank. Their presence is already there. They continue to do what they wanted to.
They continue to function as they are functioning. They also, as we said, the initial differentiated banking, they also look at their niche. They also look their customer connect. They also look their culture. And they are allowed to grow fully into the regions, and wherever they are working, they have the pan-India reach also, they will be allowed to work.
Ma'am, Timsi Jaipuria, this side.
There is no restructuring.
Ma'am.
So, every one of them now, the consolidation part being over, will be given full flexibility to grow as per their strength and their niche area and their expertise. They have all the options available of a differentiated banking, which they decide as per their own genius and grow, and they'll be fully supported in growing.
Ma'am, Timsi Jaipuria,
Nothing
this side.
restricts them.
Ma'am, Timsi this side from CNBC TV 18. Is there a timeline that has been given to the banks, to the 4 mergers, that they should come back to the government by this, to whether they are ready or not for the merger proposal to make that effective date? Also, what happens to the recap amount? What is the roadmap to utilize that amount which was earmarked in the budget and now?
There is a defined process. The process will run now. It is only the alternate mechanism which is taking a decision. Each bank, acquiring bank and the acquired bank, will go back to their boards, take the decision in their boards as they like. They'll come back to us. After that, we'll consult the RBI at 2 stages. After consultation, the scheme of amalgamation will be made, and thereafter only the date, effective date, will be decided in consultation with the banks as per their wish.
But you don't have a timeline by say next 2 months, all this process will be over.
The banks' boards are independent agencies, independent entities. They will take this decision. And as about the capital has been provided already. After the board's assessments, as the FM mentioned, these are not the confirmed, they are approximate figures. It is because they will come back to us after assessment in their boards, and we'll respect that.
Okay,
Yes.
please.
Ma'am, I'm Nirmala Sitharaman from Pratibimba Live. This is a channel from Assam. So you visit recently Assam. Today, after giving a big announcement, I have a small question for you. Under composition scheme, you already lower the tax regime for Northeast and other hill states. So, but still that MSME are suffering a lot. Do you have any further plan to lower the tax?
That's something to do with the GST. It'll be the council which takes the call on it. I was in Guwahati yesterday. I've heard a lot of inputs on that. We'll work on it.
मैम मैं लक्ष्मण CNBC आवाज़ से जिस तरीके से आपने पिछले दिनों जो मर्जर हुए थे उसमें आपने बताया कि उसमें किसी भी तरह की कोई छटनी नहीं होती, यानी किसी का एम्प्लॉयमेंट नहीं गया था। क्या इस मर्जर में भी किसी भी तरह के कोई छटनी नहीं होगी, रिट्रेचमेंट नहीं होगा, इस बात की गारंटी आप देती हैं? और दूसरी बात कि जितने भी मर्जर आपने 4 ग्रुप में किए हैं उनमें से हर एक बैंक ऐसा है जिसका NPA अपने लीड बैंक से करीब 25% 30% ज़्यादा है, तो इससे जो कंबाइंड बैंक निकल कर आएगा उसके NPA पर असर पड़ेगा?
देखिए, एक तो आपने जो बैंक अमलगमेट हो रहे हैं और जो अमलगमेट होने जा रहे हैं उनके NPAs के विषय में बात किया। FM ने आपको लगातार जो स्लाइड्स दिखाई थी उसमें दिखाया था उनकी CET1 के रेशियोज, उनके CAR और उनके NNPA, वो 3 उसके रेशियोज हैं जो 10.875 से CRRA होना चाहिए ऊपर, 7 से ऊपर CET1 होना चाहिए और 6% से नीचे एज पर द रेगुलेशन उनके NPA होने चाहिए। मोस्ट ऑफ देम वर देयर एंड द कैपिटल विच हैज़ बीन गिवन टू बोथ द बैंक्स, जो एक्वायर कर रहे हैं वो और जो एक्वायर हो रहे हैं, दोनों के अमलगमेटेड एंटिटी में ये तीनों पैरामीटर अलॉन्ग विद दिस कैपिटल और जो रिकवरी की स्पीड है और जो IBC में अभी केसेस हैं उन सब के बेसिस पर वो पूरे रेगुलेटरी नॉर्म्स को फॉलो करेंगे एंड वी आर कमिटेड कि वो फॉलो करते रहें। और आपको ये भी ज्ञात होना चाहिए कि जो रेगुलेटरी नॉर्म्स हैं वो हम अभी बेसल से भी 1% ऊपर मेंटेन कर रहे हैं। देयरफॉर हम वन ऑफ द बेस्ट बनाना चाहते हैं और 1% ऊपर हम मेंटेन कर रहे हैं।
Yes.
रिट्रेंचमेंट, देखिए ये पूरे अमलगमेशन के प्रोसेस से, जैसा FM साहब ने आपको बताया, आप अगर स्टेट बैंक हमने 27 से घटा के 12 कर रहे हैं, वो आज तक किसी का भी रिट्रेंचमेंट नहीं हुआ है और होने का चांस भी नहीं है। दूसरी बात, उनकी जो एम्प्लॉयमेंट की और जो HR की जो बेनिफिट्स हैं वो और इम्प्रूव हो रहे हैं। तीनों बैमल के जो तीनों या दोनों के कॉम्बिनेशन है उनमें जो भी बेस्ट है वो उसमें आ जाएगा। इसलिए ना सर्विस कंडीशंस होंगी बल्कि जो सर्विस कंडीशन से इम्प्रूव भी हो रही हैं और ट्रांसफर्स की भी मोबिलिटी बढ़ रही है उनकी। यानी अगर जब रीच बढ़ गया तो एक रीजन से दूसरे रीजन में जाने की भी संभावना अपने पॉलिसीज के हिसाब से बढ़ रही है। और हम ये खास तौर से इंश्योर करेंगे कि किसी भी एम्प्लॉय को किसी भी स्टेज में इससे सिर्फ बेटर ही हो सकता है, नुकसान नहीं हो सकता।
Ma'am, I'm Ashutosh from BTVI News Channel here, ma'am. My question is that the government has already announced a lot of reforms as far as the banking is concerned. Going forward, ma'am, is there any plan also for the government to bring down the government stake in public sector banks? Also, ma'am, very importantly, one segment of bank customers, that is home buyers, are already suffering a lot. By when can we expect measures on that front?
FM ने पिछले फ्राइडे को आपको अनाउंस किया था, जो अर्बन डेवलपमेंट मिनिस्ट्री है, मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ ऊपा, वो रियल एस्टेट और होम बायर्स के संबंध में अपने कंसल्टेशंस कर रही है। हम लोगों ने भी विषय किया था, वो अपने प्रपोजल्स बना रहे हैं और उसके विषय में वो अपने प्रस्तावों को फाइनलाइज करेंगे। जहाँ तक गवर्नमेंट स्टेक की आपने बात कही, नेशनलाइज्ड बैंक्स में एज पर दी एक्ट हमें 51% रखना है और जो पब्लिक सेक्टर बैंक्स हैं उनकी बहुत बड़ी भूमिका है देश में। दूर दराज में हैं, देहात में हैं, मुद्रा में हैं, फाइनेंशियल इंस्टीट्यूशंस में हैं। तो बैंकिंग की पूरी दशा और दिशा और गंतव्य तीनों चेंज हो रहे हैं। दशा आपने देखा, आपको FM ने दिखाया कि कितने सारे रिफॉर्म से दशा हुई जाकि पीछे की तरफ ना जा सकें जो गलतियां हुई। दिशा फाइनेंशियल इंक्लूजन से जनधन, मुद्रा, PM सुरक्षा बीमा योजना, PM जीवन ज्योति बीमा योजना, वो दिशा उसमें उधर भी जा रही है और गंतव्य है कि ये पूरी फाइनेंशियली इंक्लूसिव सोसाइटी बने, और जैसा जनधन 2 में दिखाया गया था, अब हर घर में अकाउंट नहीं बल्कि हर एडल्ट का अकाउंट हो और हर 5 किलोमीटर में एक वो हो, तो दशा दिशा और गंतव्य तीनों, और फ्रॉम पोजीशन ऑफ स्ट्रेंथ.
Somesh from Business Standard. One question, out of the 18 public sector banks, 12 have been announced to be merged. Does it mean that the rest of the 6 won't be merged going ahead? And second, if you can explain the rationale behind these mergers, because in some of the mergers there are 3 banks which will be clubbed, in some there will be 2 banks which will be clubbed. So how have you clubbed these banks?
There are 4-5 major principles in the merger, which the FM has shown you in the slide when on the unlocking the benefits. The first and foremost is that there should not be any disruption for the customer. Therefore, they should be on the same technological platform. So either on Finacle or on banks or on iFlag. So that is first. Secondly, they should benefit from the scale and from the synergy in terms of the CASA and in terms of their reach. As you saw that the number of branches, so number of employees, cultural affinity, all those factors have been taken into account to ensure one thing, that you are just not merging them for the sake of merging. You are not merging any weak with any strong. You are merging commercially, economically viable entities, compatible entities, to make 6 very, very, very strong bank, 2 strong national bank which can aspire to become again join the first 6, and then again 4 banks with regional reach which can again aspire to become go to the higher ladder. But as of now, no further. This roadmap is final. This roadmap as of now is final. But their boards are always independent to take call. But there is nothing. They are all 12 is the right number, which should remain.
Ma'am, this is Ruchi Bhatia from ET now. A lot of people are asking, ma'am, that is it really a goodbye to market-oriented reforms, given the fact that it is the government that is really pushing these mergers? Ideally, it should be the bank board who should be taking this decision as to which are the boards that, which are the banks that they should be merging in.
This is a good question. You can ask our banker colleagues who are here today. We have been having discussions with them, and they're all, you can ask them better, but it is a consultative process. We have been doing it for a good 6 months, and all stakeholders have been consulted, and principles are such, as I explained just now, that it makes the best sense to merge these entities to have scale, size and heft to reach to support the growth of the 5 trillion economy. Because as the economy grows, the credit expansion has to take place, and this is the right time to make them solid to support that for next 4 years till the 5 trillion is achieved.
Ma'am, Mr. Ujjwal Narayan from Newsrise. Just wanted to know, because when the discussion on big banks or amalgamation of banks started, there was one philosophy that we need big size global bank. But right now, and I want to clear, it's not a criticism, only I am asking for a clarification, that in this amalgamated structure, we are not finding something like big global bank, or we are looking for such a global bank in future. So the philosophy, what is the philosophy, apart from reducing the number, what is the philosophy behind these amalgamations?
So you are suggesting that a 4 lakh crore business bank was more likely to reach global than the 18 lakh crores. So this is 18 lakh crore, 15 lakh crore, and all of them are by and large above, except the Indian and Elaban that above 10 lakh crores. So that is from there you have to take it. You can't merge 10 together to make it 50 lakh, and State Bank is there, which is 52 lakh.
सर असीम CNBC आवाज से मेरा सवाल है, 2017 में आपके पास 27 बैंक थे, अब घट करके 12 रह गए, जिसमें से 4 रीजनल बैंक कही है जिनकी लिमिटेड है. तो आपको लगता नहीं है कि कस्टमर्स के लिए ऑप्शन जो है काफ़ी लिमिटेड हो गया, कंपटीशन नहीं रहेगा उनके लिए, डिफरेंट प्रोडक्ट्स उनको जो मिल रहे थे वो नहीं मिलेंगे पर कस्टमर से पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू?
एक्चुअली ये बिल्कुल रिवर्स है. कस्टमर्स को रीच बहुत ज़्यादा इससे बढ़ने वाली है। मैं आपको एक्सप्लेन करता हूँ किस तरीके से। इन सब के प्रोक्योरमेंट्स हैं, इन सब की सर्विसेज हैं, इन सब की पासबुक्स हैं, इन सब के ATMs हैं, इन सब की टेक्नोलॉजीज़ हैं। इसमें अगर बैंक की कैपेसिटी बढ़ी है तो इसमें इन्वेस्टमेंट्स और फास्ट होंगे। और जैसे FM साहब ने कहा कि कस्टमर का बिल्कुल भी डिसरप्शन ना हो, जैसे कि पहले बैंक ऑफ बड़ौदा के केस में नहीं हुआ और इमीडिएटली देना बैंक के कस्टमर्स को क्रेडिट मिलने लग गया PCA से बाहर आने की वजह से। इन सब में भी उनको और सुविधा मिलने वाली है। एक जगह के बदले बहुत सारी ब्रांचेज उनकी बढ़ने वाली हैं। ये मेरा बैंक बड़ा बैंक, दिस इज व्हाट इज फॉर द कस्टमर। जी नहीं, 12 हैं और 4, ये 4 अपनी रीजनल नहीं है, ये 4 भी सब जगह में है। ये भी अपने एस्पिरेशंस को और ऊपर लेके जाएंगे अब।
Okay.
Ma'am, I'm Nikunj. Ma'am, I'm Nikunj. Ma'am, this is Aishwarya Paliwal here from India Today. Ma'am, the RBI in its annual report said that the banking frauds have increased by 15% in the year 2018-19. So going forward, would you be looking at somehow curbing these frauds? Also, ma'am, the opposition now took a dig at it. Priyanka Vadra, to be precise, tweeted about this, saying that, so much fraud has happened under the government's nose. Any comments, ma'am?
I'm not inclined to comment on particularly the remarks which come from Congress party. Because if bank frauds became an institutional or became an assumption for the Indian citizen saying bank frauds happen, it's thanks to the Congress. The first slide that I showed you about telephone banking is completely a Congress ka deen, if I can use a mix of English and Hindi on that. And till today, the burden of NPAs because of indiscreet lending by the then dispensation is what is bogging our banks down even today. So it's very well for them to, in passing, comment a lot of things. If only they can stand up and account for the misconduct which happened during their time in messing up with banks. And many of these fugitives who we are trying to get back were encouraged during their times. So I think they should think twice before they even comment on anything which is happening now, which is happening for the good of institutions in the long run.
Ma'am,
Ma'am, I'm Nikunj from Bloomberg Quint. You've shared the capital infusion figures in your presentation. And you've said that those are approximate. Does that mean the entire 70,000 crore that has been budgeted for this year would be infused in all these merged banks and the other banks at one go, and the government would be open to infusing more capital in public sector banks if need arises, since the government has received a big dividend this year from the RBI?
Much before I ask the Secretary to go into the details, what has been received from the RBI? I've said it somewhere else yesterday too. The government will take a call on how to use it. I would first want this question to be delinked on that ground.
And
Ma'am, Amir who
can I answer this? The 70,000 as you said and further capital you said. FM has already said government is fully committed to make these banks absolutely robust and ready for supporting a growth required for 5 trillion economy. Having said that, we do not, as you have seen the fundamentals, we do not see any reason that it should exceed 70,000. Thirdly, the number approximate are almost the same numbers, except that it is not being set final because boards have to come back and tell us their assessment. Otherwise, these are almost the indicative numbers.
मेरा सवाल
मैम आमिर, मैं न्यूज़ नेशन से हूँ। मेरा सवाल थोड़ा सा जुड़ा हुआ पहले से भी जो अभी पूछा था। सवाल ये था कि 15% जो है नकदी का इस्तेमाल जो है वो बढ़ गया आरबीआई की रिपोर्ट में जो कल पेश हुई थी। दूसरा ये कि 17% नकदी का इस्तेमाल, 15% करीब धोखाधड़ी के मामले जो साइबर धोखाधड़ी के मामले जो है वो बढ़ गए हैं। क्या आपको लगता है कि पीएसबी बैंक्स जो है, पीएसबीज जो हैं, इसकी रोकथाम कर पाएंगे? क्योंकि उसमें सबसे ज़्यादा आंकड़े जो हैं वो पीएसबी बैंक के माने जा रहे थे। और क्या आगे भी मर्जर होंगे कुछ बैंक के? दो सवाल।
Yes.
मैडम मेरा सवाल आपसे
एक
अच्छा
देखिए, धोखाधड़ी के जो मामले आप रिपोर्ट में पढ़ रहे हैं वो ईयर ऑफ रिपोर्टिंग पर है, नॉट ईयर ऑफ अकरेंस पर है। आप कृपया करके उसमें रिपोर्ट में देखें कि वो लोन कब दिए गए थे और कब के वो फ्रॉड थे, कब डाइवर्जन थे। ये जैसे अभी पुरानी स्लाइड्स में आपको दिखाया, जब एक स्पेशलाइज्ड एजेंसी सबके ऊपर में देखने के लिए लगाएंगे तो अगर वो एनपीए होने लायक है तो एनपीए किए गए, रिकॉग्नाइज करने के लिए किए गए और उसके बाद घटने शुरू किए गए। तो ये वो रिपोर्टिंग्स हैं जो पहले हो जानी चाहिए थी और अब हो रही हैं। तो इसमें हमें कोई दिक्कत नहीं है, सरकार का ही निर्णय है कि आप अगर कहीं धोखा हुआ है तो उसको रिपोर्ट करिए, अगर वो बढ़ता है तो भी ठीक है, क्योंकि रिपोर्टिंग तो उस चीज़ की जो खराब थी वो होनी चाहिए। हाँ, आप ये पूछ सकते हैं कि अगर अभी लोन खराब हुए हैं तो वो बताइए इसमें कोई है क्या, वो देख के बताइए, नहीं है। जो लैंडिंग अब हो रही है, इतने सारे जो आपको रीजन्स गिनाए गए उसकी वजह से वो रोबस्ट लैंडिंग है, उसमें अगर फ्रॉड है तो ये समस्या आती है। अदरवाइज जो पुराने जिस कारण से भी हुए उनको अगर ठीक करना है तो उनकी रिपोर्टिंग होगी। और
मेरे
जहाँ
दो
तक
सवाल
आप-
है, दो सवाल
जहाँ
है
तक
निर्मला
आप
जी
नकदी, आपने नकदी का भी प्रश्न पूछा, वो नकदी जो नॉमिनल ग्रोथ रेट है उससे कम है। आपको जीडीपी में जो ग्रोथ है उसके हिसाब से महंगानी पड़ेगी, अगर इन परसेंटेज ऑफ सर्कुलेशन इट इज लेस।
मेरे निर्मला जी आपसे दो सवाल हैं। पहला सवाल, कल प्रधानमंत्री जी ने फिट इंडिया प्रोग्राम लॉन्च किया और कांग्रेस ने कहा अनफिट इकोनॉमी अनफिट गवर्नमेंट। दूसरा सवाल था, कांग्रेस ने आरबीआई को से आपने जो पैसा लिया उस पर कहा कि देश की जनता का इमरजेंसी का जो पैसा, इमरजेंसी फंडिंग का जो पैसा होता है आरबीआई के पास, वो सरकार ने ले लिया।
Again, Congress commenting on fit economy. When they were in power for 10 years between 2004 and 14, double-digit inflation was the feature. Food inflation was skyrocketing. They didn't even pretend controlling inflation. And even more, every endowment, whether it was space-based, coal-based, under-the-earth mineral-based, every scandal, the economy of their party and their individuals improved, not देश की इकोनॉमी। इसलिए इकोनॉमी के ऊपर कांग्रेस कॉमन करने से पहले वो जरा उनके ही अपने फिनांस पूर्व वित्त मंत्री गण जितने भी हैं उनसे थोड़ा एडवाइस लें, बात बाद में करें। वो प्रश्न एक है। दूसरा, सरप्लस फ्रॉम रिजर्व बैंक, ये भी मुझे आश्चर्यजनक लगता है कि कांग्रेस पार्टी इसके ऊपर भी बिना सोचे समझे टिप्पणी करते रह रहे। सरप्लस निकलता है आफ्टर टेकिंग केयर ऑफ, आफ्टर प्रोवाइडिंग फॉर एनी इमरजेंसी सिचुएशन। और वो कमिटी जो रिजर्व बैंक ने अपॉइंट किया एक्सपर्ट्स के, वो एक फॉर्मुलेशन देते हैं कि प्रोविजन दे दो सब इमरजेंसी सिचुएशन के लिए। वो फिनेंशियल इमरजेंसी हो सकता है, कुछ और इमरजेंसी हो सकता है, वो सब का प्रोविजनिंग करने के बाद जितनी भी सरप्लस है उसमें से कितने दे सकते हैं, ये कमेंट वो कमिटी करती है, फॉर्मुलेशन। वो फॉर्मुलेशन को अमाउंट में रिजर्व बैंक उनका करंट पोजीशन के आधारित करते हैं। इसीलिए बिना प्रोविजन पूरे उनके खजाने से हम सरकार नहीं लिए, वो कमिटी उनका है, निर्णय उनका है और तय करते हैं उनके करंट सिचुएशन को बेसिस करते हुए। उसमें सभी रिस्क का प्रोविजन होता है, चाहे वो मार्केट रिस्क हो, फिनेंशियल रिस्क हो, क्रेडिट रिस्क हो, उन सब का प्रोविजनिंग होने के बाद ही सरप्लस तय करते हैं। सो कांग्रेस पार्टी जरूर कमेंट करें, जरूर सरकार को क्रिटिसाइज करें, मगर थोड़ा होमवर्क करने के बाद करें।
Yes.
Ma'am, good evening. Sunny Verma from the Indian Express. Ma'am, the present government has taken a lot of market-friendly measures or reforms to promote market. In the banking sector, didn't you think of, say, strategic investment in banks or privatization of, denationalization of banks as a better idea compared to amalgamation? It was recently tried in the case of IDBI Bank. Former finance minister had argued about it. So just wanted your thoughts on this aspect.
At the moment, when we are looking at strengthening the Indian financial system, strengthening, keeping in mind the trajectory with which we have to grow to achieve a $5 trillion economy, we thought this is the best route after due consultation. And that's why we've gone this route.
तो मैम मैं अरुणा एनटीवी से मैम आपने कहा था कि बैंक्स को रिस्क मैनेजर्स हायर करने चाहिए आपने कहा था उनको बहुत पावर्स भी दिए जाएंगे क्या ये रिस्क मैनेजर्स इन्फ्लुएंस नहीं हो सकते तो इनके ऊपर चेक्स एंड बैलेंसेस क्या होंगे
द चीफ रिस्क ऑफिसर एक बहुत ही इंपॉर्टेंट फंक्शनिंग है बैंक में जैसे जो लोन के बारे में निर्णय ले रहे हैं और एक इंडिपेंडेंटली आर्म्स लेंथ उसमें क्या रिस्क है वो देख रहे हैं तो चीफ रिस्क ऑफिसर की जो एक पोजीशन है जो रिस्क असेसमेंट करते हैं ऑन ईच लोन ऑन द टेन्योर ऑन एंड एवरीथिंग इट इज एट आर्म्स लेंथ एंड देयरफॉर इट इज इन द बेस्ट प्रैक्टिस दैट यू हैव ए वेरी इंडिपेंडेंट very strong view coming from an independent risk officer rather than coming only from those who are assessing the proposals, who are doing the appraisals. So this is a role separation amongst the two, and it's like an audit being done of my works. Somebody looks it separately saying, this is what you have done right, this is what you have done. That's the kind of chief risk officer whom we have enabled the boards to appoint from the market also, and they will report to the board, in any case to the MD.
One last question.
Madam, this is Manohar Manoj from Economy India. My question is, exactly after 50 years of bank nationalization, you took this decision of amalgamation, bank consolidation. Would you assure that this decision will keep the prime objective of banking sector, what it was laid upon during 1969, and that will remain same? And second, most of the program of this NDA government is relying upon the performance of banks. So do you feel this amalgamation process will provide a better stimulus in implementing all your programs?
I have a little difficulty in the way you framed your question. I don't know if you intended it to be so or what. Bank nationalization happened at a time when India was still a completely socialistic, licensed quota Raj India. Today we are looking at an India which is far more open, which is far more trying to ensure that economy gets a lot of boost. The priority of lending and also the priority of boosting the economy is far different from what it was earlier. And still with the government ownership, if there is a way in which banks can have that consolidated strength and a global reach, we can achieve that by doing this amalgamation. And that is why we've done this. So the original intent of nationalization and the current intent have several things in common, but they also have some differences. We need to appreciate that. Who's asking?
I am Shikha from राष्ट्रीय संस्कृति.
Yes.
सर मैडम ये से भी है मेरा ये अनुरोध और सचिवों से भी अनुरोध है सर ये बैंकों का जो विलय हुआ है इससे बैंक कर्मचारियों में अविश्वास बढ़ा है उथल पुथल की स्थिति आई है कोई ऐसा है तो क्या वित्त मंत्रालय ने कोई ऐसी परियोजना तैयार की है कि जिससे उनका विश्वास बहाल हो सके
ये आपका एजम्पशन यहाँ बैठकर की ऐसी कोई उथल पुथल आई है मुझे नहीं लगता कि ये अच्छा अगर आई है तो मुझे अभी मालूम नहीं है हो सकता है आपको हो पहली बात
थैंक यू वेरी मच लेडीज एंड जेंटलमैन
जस्ट वन सेकंड दूसरी बात जो आपको पहले भी स्पष्ट किया था जो 3 बैंकों का मर्जर हुआ उसमें ऐसी कोई चीज नहीं आई और इस बार हमने इसलिए खास तौर से ये निर्णय लिया है हाँ वो उनको इच्छा नहीं है धन्यवाद
थैंक यू